Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood isn't just a love letter to 1969 Los Angeles, it's a rolling time capsule of classic cars. In this video, we'll identify the most notable classic cars seen throughout the film and explore how these vehicles helped bring late 60s Hollywood to life. Let's begin. As Cliff Booth and Rick Dalton arrive at the Musso and Frank Grill, the camera quietly showcases a cross-section of late 1960s Los Angeles car culture. Parked around them are a Volkswagen Beetle, a 1969 Porsche 911S, and a 1961 Ferrari 250 GT Spider California replica. The scene uses the parking lot itself as a visual time capsule. After the tense meeting wraps up, Rick and Cliff depart in Rick's 1966 Cadillac Coupe DeVille, surrounded by a wide variety of classic cars in the parking lot, including a 1958 Chevy Bel Air Impala Sport Coupe, a 1969 Chevy Camaro, a 1962 Chevy Impala convertible, a 1961 Buick Electra 225, a 1964 Pontiac Grand Prix, a 1963 Buick Riviera, a 1967 Imperial Crown convertible, and a 1964 Plymouth Valiant Barracuda. Together, this mix reinforces the film's theme of Hollywood at a cultural crossroads, where old luxury, new muscle, and emerging youth culture all shared the same streets. After dropping Rick off, Cliff heads home in his 1968 Volkswagen Carmen Ghia convertible. As he speeds down the boulevard, he passes larger American classics like a 1963 Cadillac Coupe DeVille, a visual contrast between Hollywood excess and everyday working-class transportation. Approaching his trailer home beside the Van Nuys Drive-In Theater, the film leans even harder into period authenticity. Parked nearby are utilitarian work vehicles like a 1948 Chevy double-duty delivery van and a 1947 GMC New Design, reinforcing the blue-collar atmosphere of the neighborhood. Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate depart their home in Roman's 1950 MGTD, a lightweight British roadster that reflects both European automotive influence and Hollywood's growing fascination with imported sports cars during the late 1960s. As they arrive at the legendary Playboy Mansion, Roman pulls in behind a departing 1972 Chevy Corvette Stingray, a moment highlighting the cultural crossover happening at the time. European roadsters and American high-performance muscle cars sharing the same elite social spaces. After being dropped off by Cliff, Rick walks across the studio lot toward wardrobe for his role on the TV Western Lancer. The crew's vehicles are parked in the background, including a 1963 Plymouth Fury and a 1960 Pontiac Catalina Safari wagon, both common sight vehicles on late 1960s studio lots. As Cliff heads to Rick's home to fix his rooftop TV antenna, his drive through the neighborhood becomes another moving snapshot of late 1960s Los Angeles traffic, sharing the road with a Volkswagen Beetle convertible, a 1953 Volkswagen Combi T1, and a 1966 Chevy C-Series. This mix of imports, luxury coupes, and utility vans reinforces how diverse the American car market had become by the end of the decade. While Cliff stands atop Rick's roof fixing the TV antenna, Charles Manson arrives at the Polanski residence driving an International Harvester Metro Mite Twinkie delivery van. While there's no clear evidence that Manson ever actually drove a Twinkie delivery van, this subtle automotive choice adds period-correct transportation to foreshadow the darker historical events looming in the background of the story. While waiting outside Rick's trailer, Cliff sits in a tailor-done T-Bird Studio golf cart, a common sight on large Hollywood backlots, awaiting the arrival of stunt coordinator Randy Miller in hopes of getting work. Parked nearby are crew vehicles including a 1965 Pontiac Catalina Safari wagon, a rare 1965 Chrysler 300L convertible, and a 1957 Chevy Bel Air, vehicles that quietly recreate the everyday working environment of Hollywood production during the era. While waiting for filming to begin on the set of the Green Hornet, Cliff relaxes near the cast and crew staging area. Sitting nearby is a 1966 Dodge D200, a heavy-duty pickup commonly used by production crews for hauling set materials, alongside a sleek 1968 Lincoln Continental, representing the premium personal cars often driven by higher-ranking staff and industry professionals. Cliff later throws Bruce Lee into the side of the Lincoln during a fight, causing significant damage. As Sharon Tate heads to the bookstore, she drives a 1973 Porsche 911S, sharing the road with vehicles that ground the scene in real Los Angeles traffic, including a 1962 Chevy C10, a 1966 Ford Mustang, and a 1966 Chevy Impala. This mix of European sports cars, American pickups, and full-size cruisers highlights the diversity of Southern California's car culture at the height of the muscle car and performance boom. As Sharon Tate approaches the bookstore, her attention's briefly drawn toward the iconic Bruin Theater, where she crosses the street behind a 1963 Chevy Impala. While pausing to admire her movie posters in the theater window, a 1963 Ford Econoline van passes in the background, reinforcing the everyday traffic that filled Los Angeles streets during the era. Continuing toward the bookstore, Sharon crosses the street in front of a 1965 Ford Mustang and a 1968 Volkswagen Beetle. Continuing along the sidewalk, she passes a 1955 Plymouth Belvedere suburban wagon, a reminder that many older 1950s family vehicles were still commonly driven well into the late 60s. After purchasing her book, Sharon heads back toward the theater, walking past a 1965 Ford Custom before being greeted by the theater manager. In the background, street traffic continues to flow with a 1962 Chevrolet Corvair and a 1966 Chevy Caprice custom wagon passing by, completing the scene with a realistic mix of compact cars, full-size sedans, and long roof wagons that accurately reflects everyday Southern California traffic in 1969. Cruising down the highway, Cliff Booth passes a 1969 Buick LeSabre Custom, an example of the full-size American sedans that dominated late 1960s commuter traffic. As he approaches an intersection, a classic 1956 Chevy Bel Air crosses in front of him, visually bridging the tailfin era of the 50s into the automotive landscape of the late 60s. Cliff notices Pussycat hitchhiking and agrees to give her a ride towards Spahn Ranch. As she excitedly dances on the sidewalk, the moment is abruptly interrupted when a 1967 Plymouth Belvedere police car passes by, creating a sharp visual contrast between carefree youth culture and the constant presence of law enforcement during this turbulent period. As Cliff pulls closer, traffic continues flowing around him, with a 1962 Chevy Bel Air passing in the opposite direction, and a 1962 Chevy Corvair following behind, reinforcing the realism of everyday Southern California traffic. Upon arriving at Spahn Ranch, Cliff is immediately surrounded by a landscape filled with abandoned and scrapped vehicles. As Pussycat leads him across the dusty property, they pass a 1949 GMC New Design. While meeting other members of the group, another 1954 GMC New Design can be seen lingering in the background, reinforcing the ranch's atmosphere of mechanical decay and isolation. As Tex rides in on horseback to meet Cliff Booth, he rides past a parked 1968 Ford Country Squire. Nearby, the group waits beside a worn 1950 Dodge Coronet, a visual marker of how far removed this setting is from the polished streets of Hollywood seen earlier in the film. Following the confrontation with Cliff, one of the group members speeds away on horseback to warn Tex, passing through the ranch's cluttered landscape of abandoned vehicles, including a deteriorating 1957 Ford Del Rio ranch wagon, a 1948 Cadillac Fleetwood 60 Special, and a weathered 1957 Studebaker President, visually reinforcing the ranch's isolation and decline. Later that evening, Cliff joins Rick to watch the episode of FBI that Rick appears in. As the episode opens, the action immediately features a 1940 Chevy G7107 fleeing the scene, while Rick's character gives chase in a 1962 Ford F-Series. Rick and Cliff travel to Italy to film a series of spaghetti westerns and an Italian James Bond-style film where he and Rick drive a 1965 Fiat 850 Coupe, chased by a 1959 Austin A55 Cambridge Mark II, and a 1954 Mercedes-Benz 180. Unlike oversized American sedans, these vehicles highlight the tighter urban environments and different automotive priorities of post-war Europe. Actress Joanna Pettit, a friend of Sharon Tate's, arrives at the Polanski residence in a 1967 Cadillac Fleetwood Eldorado, there to have lunch with Sharon. The scene depicts a real meeting that occurred just hours before Sharon Tate's murder, Joanna being one of the last people to see Sharon alive. As daylight fades into night across Los Angeles, the city's neon signage and streetlights come alive. Outside, a Taco Bell, a Volkswagen Beetle, and a 1960 Oldsmobile Super 88 sit along the curb. Passing through the scene is a rare Volkswagen Hebmuller Type 14A, a limited production coach-built convertible based on the Beetle platform. A visual comparison of compact imported transportation and American full-size performance sedans of the era. Another nighttime street montage places viewers outside the iconic Cinerama Theater, where heavy traffic captures the vibrant energy of Los Angeles in 1969, including a passing 1962 Rambler Ambassador, featuring scenes of street-level snapshots of cars lining up at late-night drive-thrus, including a 1967 Ford Thunderbird. Sharon Tate and her group arrive at the iconic El Coyote Mexican Cafe in a 1968 Pontiac Firebird, parking beside a 1964 Ford Falcon, followed behind by a 1962 Imperial Crown Southampton. The combination of muscle-era pony cars, compact sedans, and full-size luxury cruisers reinforces how diverse Southern California traffic had become by the end of the decade. Later that night, a tipsy Rick and Cliff take a cab home, arriving at Rick's Cielo Drive residence in a 1966 Ford Galaxy 500 taxi. Large sedans like the Galaxy were commonly used as taxis in the 60s due to their roomy interiors, durable engines, and comfortable ride quality. As Cliff returns from walking his dog later that night, he passes a neighbor's parked 1966 Volvo 1800S, a sleek European sports coupe that quietly stands out among the larger American sedans seen throughout the film. Later that night, Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Linda Kasabian, and Patricia Krenwinkel arrive at Cielo Drive in a 1959 Ford Fairlane 500 Galaxy, there to carry out Manson's demands. A '59 Ford Galaxy was used by the real Manson family members on the night of the Tate LaBianca murders. After being confronted by a drunk Rick, the Manson group reverses the car down the quiet residential road, passing a neighbor's parked 1968 Jaguar XKE. Following the chaos at the house, emergency responders arrive on scene in period-correct service vehicles. Among them is a 1966 Plymouth Belvedere station wagon, the type of utility vehicle commonly used by law enforcement during the late 60s for transport and support duties. Nearby, the body of Manson family member, Sadie, is loaded into the back of a 1961 Dodgetown panel medical transport van. An injured Cliff is transported to the hospital in a 1967 Cadillac ambulance, one of the most recognizable emergency vehicle platforms of the era. Together, these vehicles complete the film's automotive timeline by showing not just personal cars and street traffic, but also the working emergency fleet that operated across Los Angeles in 1969.